This is Oft Off Topic, a show where two men with the attention spans of a squirrel try and fail to stay on topic with today's subject. Where will their oral meanderings take us? Well, stick around and listen, because today's Oft Off Topic is... our Diablo review, finally, at long last. Sometimes life gets in the way and things take longer than we expected. Thought we'd have this review out a little bit earlier, but here it is. So, First of all, yay, finally, at long last. So we have been playing quite a bit. I've been playing a bit more than Nate has. I'm, halfway through the story maybe, and been playing a lot online. And Nate, how far are you?
Very, very, very early.
Okay,
I haven't touched it since you and I played together.
Oh, okie dokie. So you pretty much made it to the first area, more or less.
Yeah.
And then did some exploring.
And I'm playing a necromancer, and I do what I always do. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do necromancer. I decided something I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick with it. And then I go, how about barbarian? But then I started playing the barbarian very quickly. It's like, I'm gonna go back to the necromancer.
Yep, that's exactly why I have 9 of my 10 character slots filled up. Because you can only have 10 characters made for whatever reasons. And I've got 9 made right now because I apparently have commitment issues.
Well, to be fair, I can't talk. I have no room to say. I have definitely played the game. What was the game? The one I always think of, Dragon's Dogma, which they're coming out with a remake, which I'm looking forward to.
Me too.
I played
a sequel too, I believe.
I played 2 hours into that game and then decided I hated my character and started over. So,
and that's not 2 hours, and you're like, well, maybe that last character wasn't so bad. Should I go back to him?
Well, no, you can't do that. That's the thing.
You just start over.
Save, yeah. But even the name, I'm just staring at the name, going, I don't like that name.
Huh. That's the same thing about my level 51 or 52 necromancer, my main character. I just kind of hit random and came up with a name on that, and I kind of regret it because now I'm just staring at this name that I don't really like. I couldn't even tell you what it is either. It's just like, but every time I look, I'm like, oh, I could have came up with something better.
Well, and then I thought my necromancer. I gave her red hair. It's a female, and I don't know. I didn't think she necessarily was unique, but I thought she was somewhat unique. And she has red hair, and some of the stuff I colored her red. I'm like, yay! And then I saw a random clip, and I'm like, oh, that random asshole looks almost exactly like mine does. I'm not unique at all. Boo.
Then you realize you just basically recreated Commander Shepard, the female version from Mass Effect.
Right.
Whenever I think of redheads in games, I think of that because wasn't her default redhead? Yeah. Shepard.
I keep on wanting to play it. I actually did. I think I talked about it in an earlier podcast where I actually did start playing, Mass Effect 1 again, but I don't have a lot of time. I do not have a lot of time, and the time I do have, it's I pretty much I was playing it when I did not want to dedicate a lot of my limited brain power at the time to implications, as it will, to learning a new system and stuff. But even that was still too much of a slog because I'm going through a lot of story. It doesn't really start becoming a lot more just run
the first couple hours is almost all tutorial kind of stuff. Hey, go around and talk to everybody. We're going to do some world building. And it was I remember all of this. Way too much of it.
When they drop me in the Citadel, and I'm like, oh, I remember this. This is going to be a while. I'm going to have to run around and talk to people and solve mysteries and, find Sally's cat. I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Can I just shoot everyone in the face? Of course I can't. Can I just
skip ahead to the important parts? That is actually one thing they do about Diablo 4 right now, is if you beat the game with one character, when you make a new character after that, you can just start out at the main town and skip that whole little intro area. Even though that only takes 10 minutes if you hustle. Oh, and I think we should say right now, real quick, for those listening, if you want the quick answer for a review, it's good. Buy it. Or at least that's my opinion. If you don't want to sit through however long, if you don't want to sit through however long we're going to babble about this for, I'm really enjoying the game.
Overall, thumbs up for me. Definitely worth play, especially when you have someone else to play with. For me, it gets a little repetitive, but it's Diablo. If you've played Diablo before, it is not a surprise.
It is Diablo to its core. It is one of the best Diablos, though, I would say. Definitely better than 3.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Everything about 3 just felt off to me. Just the way it played, the way it looked, the whole attitude of it. This one's at least got the nice grim and dark.
I really wanted to get more into Diablo 3. It just never happened.
And it just wasn't that great. That's the sad truth of it all.
I will say though, like when I am my mentally incapacitated state, I just can't help it. I fall back to Ghost. Just well,
It's comfort food.
It is comfort. It is my comfort food, and it's totally cheating. I get it. I mean, I'm not cheating, but I am on my new game plus. I have all my weapons. Like just because when you do new game plus, you get one more slot. Like your armor and weapons can get just a little bit better, like by one more slot. And it's just that is kind of a slog. It's not a slog, but just it takes so much resources that it takes a while for you to start to level to that last bit. But I have leveled a few of my things up, and I'm playing on easy, and so I am just the god of death, and it's amazing. I mean, just
nothing can stop you.
Yeah, and well, I'm still early game. I haven't freed. Have I freed my? I did free my uncle. So I freed my uncle, so he's free. I'm on the second part of the island. So, I have that opened up. I haven't got to the top yet. I'm still fairly early. And it's just, I'm skipping all the dialogue because I played it before. There's no surprises.
Yeah.
It's not like you play New Game Plus and it's like,
oh no,
yeah.
The Mongolians are coming. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. So that's my comfort food still. But Diablo, I do like multiplayer though. That's the thing I'm doing right now. Like when I play with you, that's really fun.
Yeah, and it's definitely better multiplayer to have somebody experience all the highs and lows with it. Although I will say sometimes Diablo 4, it can be really easy at times, I feel like. Even on I'm on difficulty 2. It goes up to 4, but you got to beat the game first. Even on difficulty level 2, sometimes it's kind of easy, especially now they got my Necromancer built up for corpse explosion and corpse creation. I can just walk in a room and just make things explode. Boom, boom, boom. And it's all dead.
Well, the one thing I'm kind of missing though, and I don't know, I think eventually we'll hit it, but my Necromancer from the previous game, it feels like you could do more earlier. I mean, you know what I mean? Where it just seemed like I had a lot more skeletons rolling with me, and it seemed like there was I could be misremembering, but
I think you are because
a giant golem you can get. Maybe I don't know how deep I got in there before I got that giant golem, but
by level 15 you can have 7 skeletons running around with you, I believe. So
okay, well I'm not there yet. So I think I have 4 or 5.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's more than you could have in part 3, but I'm not positive.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while. So and I already deleted Diablo 3 off the PS4.
And also Diablo 3 also had the Witch Doctor 2, which was a summoner, which is almost identical to the Necromancer, which is kind of dumb. So you might also be conflating with that too.
Well, I never
because the Necromancer didn't actually come out till like a year or so after Diablo 3 came out.
Right, but I didn't really play Diablo 3 until I had the Necromancer. Gotcha. I played it. I mean, I had access to it, so I did play it. I just didn't, I didn't really play that much. And I wanted to play the Rogue, and I was, but I started watching these videos like, which character should you do? And universally, like, don't play Rogue.
For part 4?
Yeah. Just everything I've seen, they're like, yep, he sucks.
Really? Yeah. Everything I've seen rates as one of the highest best characters to play.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I literally just watched some dude do a tier list of the most fun characters to play, and his 2 S tiers were Necro and Rogue. Well, I actually really like my Rogue, because what I was doing with my Rogue is I'm set up so I can use Caltrops and a Poison Bomb. And also I've got this one skill that makes my dude or I guess when you throw down Caltrops, you jump backwards and shoot off an arrow. So I can run in the middle of a crowd, drop a couple of traps, jump backwards out, and just start hailing arrows at everybody while they die from poison. Oh yeah.
Well, then maybe that changes my mind, because I just every video I've seen. Now that being said, I mean I haven't seen all the videos, but I've when I pop around the light, don't do Rogue. Rogue sucks.
Man, so I like my Rogue.
Yeah, I mean if obviously
honestly I've kind of liked all the characters I've tried so far. They've all been kind of fun in their own way. You just one thing you got to do is they're almost infinitely customizable. You can make them do whatever you want. Your Rogue can be an bow and arrow kind of guy, or you can be straight daggers, just running around like a little, pokey guy.
Yeah, I still haven't quite figured out. Well, you say that, but I haven't really seen where I can boost my stats in terms of strength, dexterity, whatever. I mean, I have that tree, the skill tree.
Yep, that's where you change everything. You don't really need your actual stats don't do a whole lot in this game outside of HP or magic, I feel like.
Okay.
I don't know. If I go up by 20 intelligence, I sure can't seem to tell a difference in my guy.
I can see that.
Yeah, mainly it feels like it's more it's the point skills you dump all your points into that affects how your character plays. Because you can have a Necromancer with absolutely no minions to summon, and he just does it all on his own, drinking people's blood and making them explode. I tried it for a little bit. It was kind of fun, but I don't know. I like my little minions running around. causing havoc.
Yeah, I do too. And
Yeah,
honestly,
and they keep you company too. I like to think of
mean,
them kind of like those humorous from Army of Darkness, those humorous skeletons that had like personality. Welcome back.
yeah, to go, basically I brought in a chair in the bathroom, set it up, like set the thing up. Then I had to take the controllers off the Switch, go get the little adapter so you make it into a full controller, so she's not like reaching over and touching her wet hands on the actual console itself. Then I had to go. Then I was like, oh man, I'm having trouble breathing. Not real bad trouble breathing, but like my per the doctor, my nose is like small, like have like short passages. I don't know, maybe it's the crook of my nose, who knows? But then I went and got some breathe right strips, and I could breathe so much better. And
now I feel you on the narrow nose thing, because my nose seems to, I don't know, have less flow than your average human beings.
Yeah, it really made a lot of sense when I asked her about that. I was like, well, I went in there because I was like, Jenny sent me there going, your snoring is out of hand, because I usually don't snore. I mean, or I snore like not too bad, and it was gotten real bad. So, but
rattling the walls.
Yeah, but the breathe right strips did help. So
you can also order those things cheap on Temu, it turns out, because I know they're not super. They're kind of expensive in the store, aren't they?
They can be. Like when I, my technological like curse is just infuriating. Like they are wanting me to reset my password, and they, of course, most people like, oh yeah, reset your password. I can't do it. It won't let me. I follow their instructions to the letter. I follow their instructions. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And inevitably, I need to call the help desk. And the help desk comes in. We'll do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, watch me. And I'll do that, this, that, and I'll follow their instructions to the letter. It doesn't fucking work. And then when it does work, it still doesn't work, because then I try to log in with the password that I just set up. It doesn't fucking work. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't tell you. Like, just, and finally, like, usually what ends up happening, they'll do it for me. They'll go in the IT thing, they'll change the password on their end so I can do it. And I'm like, do we need to do this every single time? Can you put a note just saying he's cursed, so just leave it as is?
The answer is sadly no.
Yeah, right.
Well, they could, they just won't, because my job told me that I need to change our passwords every 30 days, and they told me that like 4 years ago, and I haven't had to change it since.
Yeah, well, I think because mine has a lot of, I deal with like sensitive information. They're a little more, I don't have a choice. But then yesterday, I really got to be like, I got emotional. I got so upset because I'm really trying to get my other stuff, my art things going. And so last night, I'm like, okay, I got my Shopify account. I don't have everything on there, but I have like 9 things on there. And this is stuff I'm going to manage myself. I'm not using this Printful thing. I print these stickers. I have the paper. I go to UPS store. I print it there. I cut them out, and like I can mail them from here. I can do this. And I have, of these, I have 9 stickers ready. And I still need to get more, but I'm working on it. I don't want to wait till I'm totally done. I need to get shit going. And so, like, okay, link it to your Facebook account. Okay, link the Facebook account. No. Okay, can I please, do this? No. Well, let's do it. No. Can I do it? No. Won't do it. Nope, can't do this. It's, this is synced to another account. Like, what account are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't do this again. And there's 2 other accounts that, like, I actually did open 2 Shopify accounts. I have 3 stores, one of which I'm paying for. The 2 are inactive. And I'm like, did I link it with any of these inactive ones? Well, I can't access the inactive ones because they're like, oh, in order to access them, they want me to pay first because the free trial period is done. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna pay to just jump on there to see if it's working or not. If it's
20 seconds.
Right. And so then I go to Facebook and I'm like, I don't see anything on here. And so I see some stuff on there. I delete it. Finally, like, I get it working. Like, okay, I get it linked to my actual account. Oh, there was they need to verify I was there. Like, Facebook wouldn't even, they're like, no, your Facebook account's restricted. And so I had to go and deal with that. I've dealt with that. Fine. And so then I started doing this. I have a business account attached to my Facebook. They're like, okay, no, you can't. It's attached to another thing. Like, no, it's not. It's not. I don't see anything on here. And I'm going through all their like back end setting stuff and like going through all these menus. I mean, dude, this was like 45 minutes of this, and just like, nope. So finally, I'm like, okay, start a new business page. I can do that. I can start on the business page, and I want to delete that business page that was there. I'm like, I have 80 followers on there. Whatever. Whatever. I'll just delete this and start over, because 80 in the grand scheme of things is nothing. And so I go to delete it. You can't delete this. Why? You can't. They literally just said you cannot delete this page.
We will not allow you to delete what you have
Yeah.
created.
Yeah, they're just like, no. And so I'm like, okay, then. So I created a new business page. I got that up. And then it's like, but I needed to attach to another business page. Okay. And so I attached to the existing business page. So I have my business page has a business page. And I'm like, fine, whatever. Like, can I get to the store now? I can't locate. And then my Shopify says, okay, we're linked. Great. Where is it? Where is it? I can't find my store. Nowhere. I can't find it anywhere. I am the owner of this. I can't locate the store or even locate the tab that will let me get to that thing to sell anything. I can't find it. It's just can't find it. And I finally just said, it was touching midnight. And I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. And it's supposed to link to Facebook and Instagram. I can't even find where I go to my Instagram page, can't find it. Can't locate anything that would imply that I'm trying to sell anything. Like, never mind actually like dealing with products. The store itself, I can't locate. And I'm just like, how the fuck? Why? I look on YouTube and they're like, oh yeah, I have 20 minutes and I was up and running. I'm like, fuck you. Just fuck you. And so I'm
like mocking you with their happy stories.
And I'm legit, like, I am very close to just deleting my Facebook entirely and like starting from scratch. You know, there are a lot of people on my Facebook page that, like, you know, I haven't spoken to in forever. And so I'll probably lose them as friends on there. And at this point, I just don't even care.
I must burn this all to the ground for my sanity.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I'm sure there's like pictures and stuff I'd probably still have. They're like, oh, memories. And I mean, and part of the issue is I haven't really messed with it in forever. And I'm just so frustrated. Like, can I not just, like, why does it have to be difficult every single time? Why? And it's like, then there's passwords. And speaking of passwords, I can't log into Disney Plus or Hulu. And you gave me the password for Hulu. It won't work. Because of course it won't work.
Yeah, and you know what's weird about that is I'll be able to log in on my TV just fine. You'll send me that thing being like, hey, it's not working. I'll be like, all right, it'll load fine on my TV, but I'll try to load on my phone or my PC, and it'll be like, nope, you gotta change your password, which is really odd. But I mean, it'll like literally work just fine on my TV.
And then the Disney Plus, like, you sent me the new password, great. So I logged in on PS4 and logged on the TV, great. It's up to Disney Plus. Well, I would have knew watch the Secret Invasion. I do the exact same things. I do my phone, nope, won't work. Password's not good. And I'm just like,
I wonder if you can only just log in so many times with that password before it. I don't know.
Why? Everything. Why? And then I made that, I sent you that new logo, and I'm trying to find on the setup. Like, I'm trying to make this thing, and I'm debating, do I do it YouTube size? Like, do I just go ahead and like not make it for TikTok, or should I make it for YouTube? Because the video is going to be about like 2 minutes, like a little under 3 minutes, because the entire section is a little under 3 minutes. So I'm like, well, do I make this 16 by whatever, for a phone, or do I make this for, a screen?
Yeah.
And that really depends on where I put my stuff. And the thing is, like, the TikTok size is restricting because I have a very limited space to put the two characters. And I mean, I could make it work, but now that I'm not using the backgrounds, I can have a little more wiggle room. And so I was going to put them next to each other, but I'm like, okay, now they're right next to each other. And how do I imply, I could say, the person who's talking is the one who's moving, and the one who's not talking is just kind of stand there, maybe not stationary, but just kind of stand there. And like, okay, I can do that, but it's like, I don't. Yeah, it's just I've been very frustrated the last couple of days.
And then little things like changing your passwords happen.
Oh my god, the passwords thing! I'm so irritated. Anyway,
yeah, I know how you feel because I like linked my KFC and my Blizzard accounts, and I can't find my free KFC armor.
Oh really?
It's exactly like that, Nate, in every regard.
No, but
I don't really care, but I like linked them. I'm like, it's like, yeah, you should have your item. I'm like, load up the game. I'm like, where?
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. I mean, it maybe not be as expansive, but no, you're like, okay, do this, great.
Well, it's not nearly as traumatizing for me either because I don't really care if I get my 11 herbs and spices sort of flavor.
Well, and another thing that, like, to kind of add on to that was oh damn it, I lost it. passwords. You can't find anything. Fuck, man. I went to go click on something for work, and just like the.
We should do a segment called, what grinds my gears? What grinds Nate's gears?
Yeah, I got it.
So, what grinds his beans? There we go.
There you go. So I'll watch a YouTube video. Okay, fine. Fuck it. I'll watch a YouTube video, or I'll go on, I'll Google it, and I'll find a webpage. And they're like, okay, dumbass, here is step-by-step instructions. We are literally telling you, exactly what to do. Follow us exactly, and you will have the result you're looking for. Awesome. Okay, go to this page. I'm there. Click on this button. There's no button there. Now, here's the next step. Like, no, wait, go back. That button you're telling me doesn't exist on this webpage. What are you talking about? And they're like, okay, now keep on going. And there's no section like, oh, if that button's there, do this. No, they're just like, oh yeah.
Do you have an ad blocker on that PC? Because I've had ad blockers fuck with that kind of stuff every once in a while. Like
I do, but I like this is BL. I'm like, I don't know, like that maybe that's the case. But I think
every once in a while because every once in a while they'll block like a weird widget or a JavaScript or something. They'll prevent a pop up from happening and be like, hey,
I'll check that but that's definitely hit me. Like even before I got that fancy ad blocker that I pay for, that's just like, oh yeah, do this. Like it's not there. It's just not there.
What didn't you find out that video's from like 3 years ago when version 2.0 and you're on version 4.7?
Well, and even the Samsung stuff. This actually happened with the Samsung stuff. Like, okay, I'm trying to do this. Okay, go to settings. Now go to this. Okay, I go to that. Now click on this tab. There's no tab there. There's just not there. And so I find something that kind of works with it, like kind of, because either the versions changed or whatever. And the one that made me the most mad, and we can get off the subject after this, but like the TikTok, like I was trying to do my TikTok store, and they're like, Jenny's like, you need to have your website on there. Okay, a clickable website, got it. And they're like, okay, do this, got it. It's not there. It's just not there. Here's a tab. Click on this and put your website in there. No, this is not there. And then they're like, okay, well, you need to have X amount of followers to allow you to do that. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? What does followers have to do with anything about me adding this on there? And they're like, well, if you like turn your account to a business account and then back and then turn it back, and like basically you have to play with it. If you juggle back and forth between business account, personal account, eventually it'll pop up. Like, oh, okay. And I don't know, man, just
it's a conspiracy. Especially frustrating when everybody talks about it's so simple. 99.9% of people have no problems with this. And you're like, well, what about us 1%? 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah. Diablo,
yes. I have no idea what we were talking about on that either.
I apologize. Like I don't get to talk about this stuff
actually,
much,
that did make me think that we should have a what grinds Nate's gears and just have you like just rant.
Yeah.
Because that could actually work pretty well because you're good at that. You got stuff to get out. Maybe we'll do that.
Maybe
we'll do that next week or something.
It is upsetting. Like I really don't have this doesn't really translate through text. And plus when I have the text, I have to keep on deleting the conversation. Jenny doesn't really check my phone like that, but every so often, like I want to show her something funny that we talking about, and she will scroll.
Yeah. So sometimes that's just a reaction of fucking muscle reaction too. Because I've done that. People hand me the phone, be like, look at this, and I'll just start scrolling. And all of a sudden, I'm like, why am I scrolling? I don't care what's on here. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. You just hand me a phone, and I just start scrolling. Or like when you show somebody a picture and they start scrolling left or right, you're like,
yeah, don't do that.
No. It's like I don't think there's anything bad on there, but I don't know. I don't know what I was doing 10 minutes ago.
Oh man, I'll never forget people trading DSs at the GameStop, back in the day, and they would come in, they'd show it to me, and I'm like, okay, like I need to wipe it. They can't have their stuff on there, and this. Like they had a picture. I mean, wasn't anything too bad, but like it had the dude in his underwear, like dancing. I'm like, I didn't even see that.
I knew people that worked at the film processing place at Fred Meyer back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. They didn't like look at the pictures, but every once in a while they'd like look over the little sorting machine that's like spitting out pictures. Also, they'd just see stuff and be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like I didn't want to see that by any means, but it just kind of flipped in front of me.
Yep. I must see it, but I saw it.
Yeah. Then you realize people are taking these pictures and they're like, yeah, we'll just go get them developed by a stranger somewhere. Secondhand voyeurism or something like that.
Right.
We'll make them watch.
Surely there's a movie at some point that came out during that time, or there's like one of the plot points was, someone's developing film and it's like this is a murder or something.
There was the Robin Williams one where he was the film developer and he became like obsessed with a family because he was developing all their photos. He's like, they have such a pretty family.
It's so funny. I flashed that too when I was thinking about that. But
he played a really creepy bad guy in that movie, if I recall.
Yeah, he had decent range. Robin Williams really did have decent range. Yeah, it really is a bummer what happened to him, but and it still throws me off. His best friend was Bobcat Goldthwait. That just throws me off.
Yeah. I mean, actually, Bobcat's friends with a lot of people, really.
Well, apparently he lived with him. Bobcat was legit. They were super close.
Yeah.
So
they came up in the same era of comedy too, late 70s, early 80s.
True. Yeah. I also heard that Robin Williams was a terrible was a mooch back in the day. They're like, yeah, we'd be back there, and he would come back there, steal their Coke and their jokes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard of him stealing jokes before. Yeah. Which is weird because he kind of gets a pass on that as opposed to other comedians who don't. Remember when the whole Carlos Mencia came through and
oh man,
that dude got lambasted.
He got raked through the fucking coals. I mean, deservedly so, but just raked through the coals. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard somebody excuse Robin Williams because he was just basically doing coke-fueled rambling, so he didn't even really know what was coming out of his mouth back in the day. But still,
and I actually watched one of his later specials. I don't know. I don't think he was. I don't think his stand-up was for me.
Yeah,
I didn't
really see his later. I saw some of his early stuff where he was really manic, just running around the stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw his last one he did, and again, I mean, it was fine, but just I don't know. It just I didn't like it. Yeah. I can't say. I'm not gonna say you're trying to say because I'm not trying to justify anything. I just didn't like it, and it was obnoxious. So I was like, okay, well, I think I'm done with this. I don't think I like his manic, whatever, as a scripted part of a production.
Yeah, you like it when somebody else is putting the words in his mouth, not so much when he's doing his own writing.
Well, even as ad lib, because a lot, even him as Aladdin, or not as Aladdin, as the genie. When he was the genie, a lot of that, not obviously they were still scripted, but a decent chunk of his antics were unscripted. They just let him go crazy in the voiceover booth, which is fine. But not everything that came out of his mouth was gold. And
yeah, this is true. He was also one of the first big actors for a animated film, if I recall. Kind of set the standard for being hey, we're gonna get a big name celebrity for our Disney movies,
right?
Because before that,
and I mean,
kind of.
And speaking of Aladdin, and I don't know if we're recording now or if we're officially not, because we are way off topic. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. We're recording.
Yeah. People hated Will Smith for how dare you, steal, try to do Will Smith. And I don't think he was trying to do Will Smith. He was just being not Will Smith, Robin Williams. My bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to steal anything from Robin Williams. He was just trying to do things his way. I think it just sucked. Now, that being said, I haven't watched the movie. I've seen clips, and just that's all I needed. They're like, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, or you should see the whole thing, then you'll really get the context. No, I don't need to. I saw a YouTube thing, several YouTube things. They're like, okay, here's the scene from animation, and it was it was what it was. It was great. And then here's a scene from live action. And it's not totally Will Smith's fault in a lot of these respects, because even when he was Blue Genie, they're still trying to stick with kind of, I don't know, it was wooden, because life isn't as fluid as animation is.
Yeah.
And your even eyes, it comes down to the eyeballs, they're not as expressive as animated eyes. And that's one of the big things, even The Lion King, especially The Lion King, or anything that has to do with animals. Animals don't have expressive eyes. Dogs do. Dogs have eyebrows, so they can, you can get a little more away with it. But cats don't.
Yeah, unless it's by design, accidentally through fur pattern.
Right. So it's just they needed to. I've seen some people go into some of the old Lion King stuff, and they're like, okay, here's how it looked when it came out, and here's an alteration, and all they did was made the eyes a little bit bigger. It wasn't freakishly big. I mean, obviously it was not natural, but they just made their eyes a little bit more expressive, and it completely changed the look. And it's they should have done that.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about the Aladdin remake until you just brought it up.
Well, they do the live action. They just did the Little Mermaid thing,
Yeah,
and I love how it turned. When the Little Mermaid first was announced, everyone's like, "What? She's black? Burn this fucking place down!" And then they showed videos, really sweet videos of the reveal of Little Mermaid or Ariel as black. And there's these really sweet videos you saw online of these black families showing their daughters, like, look, and they saw, and there's like, they're so happy they're crying. And so there was the big controversy. When that finally simmered down, then people started looking at the other characters, and they're like, okay, they're like, okay, Ariel's black, is fine, whatever. Because I mean, even if they were like, you're racist, it's also like, there's no such thing as mermaids. It can be,
yeah, it's a made-up critter. You can make it whatever color you want.
Exactly. She can be plaid.
Think of the original story. Isn't she like gray-skinned or something like that originally too?
You think?
Like
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have people living at the bottom of the sea, they don't need melanin.
They really don't.
There's no real reason why they
do need scales, however.
Right, they would have scales, and you're right. They will most likely be a grayish color.
Ooh, she'd have to have a swim bladder too. So if she comes out of the water, she'd have to like expel a whole lot of water in arrows, and it's like bleh.
Or clear. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but anyway, she was what she was. But then they started going like, "Oh, what's Flounder look like?" And then the horror started, and Sebastian the Crab looks moronic, and then it all looks stupid. And I've seen a couple of clips, and it doesn't work. It does, when you take animals from cartoon and take them to these quote unquote live action things, you don't need to make them completely realistic. You can assume they live in a world where they're a little bit different because there's no such thing as mermaids. It's fine. You can cheat.
Suspension of disbelief kind of thing.
And you could also just that would be indicator of which ones you're going to pay attention to, which ones not. For instance, when they're eating fish, you can have the fish they're eating look like regular fish. You don't need to explain it. It's a movie. They'll understand. Yeah, it's if you start applying logic to everything, then it's all going to fall apart. It's just
a straw house that comes crumbling down.
So Sebastian can have his his animated eyes, and the other crabs around him who are being served, they can look like just regular ass crabs. No one cares. It's fine. There's gonna be people like you and me. We would most likely pick at it and laugh. I would.
And write our own little fan theories on it.
100%. I would totally shit on that, but I would understand. But the way they did it, they got shut in a different way.
Yeah, I do remember seeing pictures of Sebastian and Flounder, and yeah. I still haven't seen any Disney movies for quite a while. I feel like I don't know. Nothing's popped up to make me go, yeah. Well, you got a family and kids, so
yeah.
They're like, we need to watch this.
Makes sense. And my youngest, Ella, in case we're actually recording this for a podcast, she wanted to see the Elemental movie that came out recently.
Oh yeah, the one that's like their biggest flop so far.
Yeah, and that sucks, and I don't know if it sucks. I'm not that invested, I don't really care. But I like Pixar. That is Pixar, right?
Yep, it is Pixar.
Yeah, and Pixar was just rocking it, man. Pixar was on point for so long. Now that being said, not everything was a banger. Like Cars 2, airplanes or planes, whatever. But when they actually were doing something that was worthwhile, it worked. They were doing really well. And they've done, when they touched on Toy Story again, even the last Toy Story movie, I recommend it. I do. I think it's worth watching. But man,
I wonder if people are just kind of getting tired of the Pixar formula, which is basically, what if blank had emotions? What if blank was alive? Because that's kind of what all their movies are. Even the other ones are like, what if emotions had emotions?
Well, I think one of the critiques I saw was, Inside Out, which was a good movie. But I think one thing I saw about one of the complaints of people actually seeing the movie, it's done. It's been done before. What if this element? What if these two elements? They should go together, but here they are.
It's also a movie about immigration too. Apparently, the lead dude doing the movie as his parents immigrated from Korea to New York, I think, and this is kind of roughly based on that. Like his family are the fire people moving to the waterland where they could get snuffed out by a mud puddle.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. They do have a really stupid ad campaign going out for it right now, though, where there's this one character named Sprout who's just like this. I don't know. He's like the little kid in there. He's all cute and does cutesy stuff.
Yeah, I think I've seen him. Yeah.
Now they got the ad campaign where it's like, watch the crowd go wild when Sprout first appears on the screen, and they have all these clips of like this overdubbed like crowd cheering every time Sprout's on TV, like, yeah, it's Sprout, woo! And it just feels like the most hacky thing I've ever seen. Well, like, nobody knows who the Sprout person is. Nobody's going to cheer when he pops on the screen. Why are you trying to sell us this?
This is not Olaf.
Yeah, right.
Stop trying to be Olaf. It's not Olaf.
Oh, you're right. That is what they're trying to make right there, isn't it? They're trying to do Olaf 2.0 or yeah.
Well, Disney. I'm not sure if the Pixar does this, but I know like Disney.
Disney owns Pixar. They'll make Pixar do whatever they want. Well,
let me
the
go
mouse
back.
Has influence.
Oh yeah, the mouse. I'm not going to run out of money for this, but like going back. Okay, let me preface this by saying this is what I read. I could be wrong. If I am, there it is. But from what I understand, they don't test screen their movies enough. Like they don't really do that. You know, they kind of just make things. They have their own in-house stuff, but they don't really put it out there. I guess for fear of people like talking about it or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah, they'll like show it for the crew or something like that. And be like, look what we made, but not really a. Yeah.
So when Frozen came out, their intention was Anna was going to be the hot shit. Yeah, they knew Olaf would do okay, but they thought like everyone would be down for Anna. Well, when the movie came out, people didn't give two shits about Anna. Everyone loved Elsa. That's why at the time, if you're a parent, you're like, oh shit, I need Elsa dolls. They were gone everywhere. And like Disney was basically with their...
They were banking on the wrong character.
They were banking on the wrong character. And so they were just like, they're like, what do we do? You know, I'm
guessing, is Elsa the more relatable one, I'm guessing? Maybe?
No, she's just the one with superpowers.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, it honestly, you know, have you seen Frozen?
I have not.
Okay, well, very, very, very quick version. So you have Elsa, Elsa and Anna, they're sisters. Elsa has powers, Anna doesn't. Elsa has ice powers. But Elsa like accidentally blasts Anna with her ice powers, and so they're like, okay, well, emotions. They tell Elsa, your emotions are what controls your powers. So no emotions. You need to be blank slate always. Which is, of course, you know, the perfect advice to give to a little kid. Yeah. And so Elsa, in fear of like hurting her sister again, locks herself in a room, and it's implied she never leaves that room. So she grows up in that room by herself her whole life.
Is there a bathroom in that room? Because otherwise,
yeah, hope so.
She has not showered, and nobody has cleaned that bucket in the corner for quite some time.
Either that, the people who hang outside our window are really filthy.
Right. They have just the entire ground around that fenced off for like 20 yards or something. Like, do not walk under there at any time of day. Stuff might come flying out, and then there's like old perverted Ted be like,
So then for some reason, her parents go off on a trip and they die. So then Elsa's queen because she's the oldest. Now, you know, for reasons. You're like, okay, well, she's queen now. Well, we can't accept her until she goes to the coronation. So the first time she's ever seen by anybody outside of, like, I guess maybe the few servants who are allowed to talk to her. And like they straight up say, like, you know, her and Anna have a big split. Anna can't see her. She's locked at the whole song where she's like, you know, do you want to build a snowman? It gets all sad and blah, 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 blah. And then the first time she sees him, Anna, like, meets this prince. And she wants to, like, within 5 minutes, she's like, I love you. Let's get married. Because, you know, one of the things is they close the castle up. So even Anna doesn't have any friends. Like, Anna has the castle, but then she doesn't know anybody. So shit happens. Elsa runs away. People find out she's powers, blah, 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 blah. Power of love. She, you know, they make up. Elsa just, within 30 seconds, Elsa figures out how to control her powers and everything's fine. And, of course, never mind the fact she accidentally freezes everything, like including the forest and the water, and, you know, assuming the fields, everything turns into a winter. I mean, and so things are like
destroying all the crops and putting hundreds of lives at risk, if not.
But thousands. Then she does it because then she turns around and undoes it all, and it's all fine.
Oh, you know, that's not how reality and physics works. Most of those plants would be dead if they got flash frozen.
Well, never mind the fact that she also creates life because she creates Olaf and Olaf's alive, and then she like on the fly makes a giant like abominable snow monster who's also alive.
So she could make an army of snow demons and just march on the entire world,
right? And I'm not gonna get too much further on that, but just like,
no, I do like this. We could like do Frozen Game of Thrones kind of crossover where it turns out they're like winter is coming, and it's actually Elsa just like coming, just freezing everything in her path with an army of like evil Olafs marching with swords.
Well, that's the low-key thing. Like it, the movie does have a villain. Like the villain being the prince.
Yeah, apparently it's Elsa or Ella, whichever.
Well, honestly, she's the villain of the story. But the villain that actually what you look at is the prince that Anna meets, who she wasn't marrying 5 seconds. He's like a total dick. He tries to kill both Anna and Elsa and wants to become the king of their country, even though like he's literally been in their country for less than a day. Or maybe even 2 days. Let's go crazy, say 3 days. And he's like, okay, now I'm the ruler now. And like, does
nice country.
Like
I think
that?
It's mine now.
Yeah, like
apparently whoever calls dibs first on the nation.
Like I don't know if it works like that, but whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like don't watch it. I was gonna say
don't watch it.
Yeah, you don't need to.
It's got that Let It Go song that everybody sang. And I still have not actually heard the entire version of that song. So
and you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You don't need to. You're all good.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly, like I said, I haven't watched any Disney movie since like, oh god, last one I probably saw was actually like Beauty and the Beast, maybe. But I'm not avoiding it. It was just I don't know. Every time one comes out, I'm like, oh, that's a movie.
I mean, why would you? That's the thing.
I do like animated movies, although I feel like there's other studios doing slightly better, more adulty kind of
absolutely.
Yeah, stuff like Rango was a really good one. Remember Rango?
Yeah,
Yep,
that's pretty good.
That was good.
Well, also, you talk about how this movie is for it's about immigration. The Zootopia dealt with racism. Like, dude,
Zootopia was a really good movie. Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Well, they did good. Wait, that's not Disney, is it?
No, it's not. That's
It is. It's not Pixar, but it's Disney.
Zootopia? I thought that was DreamWorks. To the internet.
Yeah, like, exactly. Well, it's on Disney Plus.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is Disney. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay.
So you have watched a Disney movie recently?
I have actually. Yes. Well, look at that. I'm wrong. I'm often wrong.
Huzzah!
Because Judy Hopps, one of the most fuckable of all Disney characters.
Yeah, dude. What the hell? What the hell, dude? Like, I mean, I'm not saying what the hell you said that. Like, I'm saying like,
I know.
Like that's fucked up. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, and then it's like,
trust me, I've seen the DeviantArt of Zootopia. It's everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, and here's the thing. So they deal with racism, but it's not quite a 1-to-1. And the reason why is because, in the end, we humans, regardless of the melanin in our skin and like the shape of our nose, we're all still humans. In the end, we're Homo sapiens, and there is like almost no genetic differences between us.
Unless you're extremely racist, then you might have some ideas beyond that. But yeah, let's go with your idea.
We all hail from Africa. Okay,
yeah.
We all come from the same area in Africa. We wiped out the Cro-Magnon and we spread like wildfire. That in the end, we're all human. But in Zootopia, that is not the case. A rabbit is a very different, like, genetics and everything animal than a fox. Like, they can't reproduce because it doesn't work that way.
And that's why birth control is not really a thing over there in Zootopia.
So
everybody just interbreeds.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very heavily implied. Like, I mean, the way I read it, like there was going to be some kind of relationship. Sure, yeah, they were friends, and and I could just be reading more into it, but like, she's female, he's male. So like, male and females can't be friends. Of course they can, but I don't know. Like they were really, really close, and so I don't know. I think I'm not the only one who assumed that there's some kind of romance was kind of blossoming there, and no. I mean, sure, they can have a lot of fun, but in the end, nothing's going to come of it. And I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about cross species.
Cross species romance.
And that makes me a bad person, so be it. But
back in my day, bluebirds and blackbirds didn't mate.
There was that you ever see that Robot Chicken where like it's Goofy comes in, he's dating that cow, and they're all sitting around the table, and Mickey Mouse goes, "This is wrong," and Donald goes, "Finally, someone said it." I don't know. I think people. I told my girls today, I don't know what the conversation was, but I'm like, look, I know why the conversation was, because August is she's having a problem being extremely judgy of people. I mean, she's 14, but I mean, and that's to be expected. But dude, the venom that comes out of her mouth, if it was up to her, anybody if you had a tattoo on your face, you're in a gulag somewhere. So, but I will say this has nothing to do with race. There's no it has nothing to do with racism or whatever. It has to do with who they are as a person.
So, but still, she could use that term, those people.
So we had to sit down with her I think it was last night, and we had to have a serious talk where it's okay, look, you are being very, very judgmental and hateful. She's not doing anything about it. It just, we feel it at home. She doesn't inflict that to anybody outside. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like that when I'm talking about well, they should not. This should not be.
This is just not natural in nature.
Right. It's not natural.
A duck with its corkscrew penis could never have sex with that ox. It's kind of funny you use. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's kind of funny you use the animal reference, because that's what my parents used to use for race relation marriage.
Yeah, good old-fashioned human racism, yeah.
Yeah, because my parents would always do the line, well, blackbirds and bluebirds don't mate in nature. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you talking about?
Wait, what?
But that was literally their thing over and over again.
That's funny.
So,
I mean, it's
They actually said worse things than that, but we won't go
I'm sure they
good times. But going back to something you were, huh?
I was gonna wrap up the Zootopia thing. I think I'm done with that. But you,
one thing Zootopia did do that I liked is they did do a very good world building job where they're showing you how they kind of all of the species get together without the mice getting stepped on by the elephants and this and that. Everybody's got their own little separate elevators, and they did good world building on that. This actually kind of makes sense.
It would not survive a stress test by any stretch of the imagination. However, for just taking it as it is, okay, I'm not going to push too deep. I'm not going to ask too many questions. I'm just going to accept the way the world they've built as it is. It works.
It was better set up than the world in Elementals, from what I hear, because Elementals, your fire spirits walking around, water's just hosing everywhere, and also too, they don't allow fire people into certain buildings. You're kind of ain't allowed in here.
Well, also that makes sense. If you're made of fire and you want to go into a building that's made of wood, that's not racism. They don't want their fucking building to burn down.
Well, the main thing is, if you're made of fire, why would you move to a place with nothing but wood where you couldn't literally go anywhere?
Or vice versa, then the water. If your building was made of water, you don't want responsible for the death of these fire people coming in, because they can't even touch the wall. What are they doing there? If you FaceTime, why are you here? Go away. I think
there is some story about how they got displaced, but I'm not sure about that.
Well,
we could watch a movie and complain about it one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. Speaking of, but they bounce off this to go somewhere else, because that's flopped. I thought this when you said flopped. The Flash. I'm sad. Oh, sad. That's too strong. I don't know how I feel. It upsets me that it bombed. Honestly, the biggest reason why I said it bombed was, it really did put the kibosh on the whole DCEU, which is fine. I mean, it needed to go. It needed a reboot. I kind of wish they kept Henry Cavill, but as Superman. But I'm fine with them getting rid of him. They can move on. Whatever.
Yeah, it can actually help if they just burn everything to the ground. Start over fresh.
Ultimately, Batfleck had promise. with the Batman v Superman, it had promise, but that fell through. I'm fine with that. Wonder Woman, like after 1985, they should have drugged Gal Gadot and shot her in the head. I mean, okay, that's extreme. They I'm not gonna blame her entirely.
She's not quite worth an off-screen death, though, right?
No.
She's good enough. We can kill her on screen. She's not worthy of an off death.
But that being said, I can't blame entirely her. She, in the end, she's just an actress. Saying words.
She only does the lines they give her, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, she did the best she could, and it's just, it's not entirely her fault. Yeah, it's just she's the face of the movie, so I blame her. But I'll admit that's not fair. But man, just the DCU really just dropped the ball, and the big reason they dropped the ball was they didn't want to put the work in. Marvel put the work in. They didn't know they were doing the work, and that was the trick. They didn't realize they were putting the work in until it all started coming together. Then they're like, "Oh yeah, see, we did all that stuff, and here we are now." Now they have their own problem too, because now they're wanting to kind of reboot everything. I'm sure, but that now they have all these movies. Like, I mean, they can wrap it up. They could tie it up with a nice little bow, if they wanted to. And
I think people are starting to get a little bit of superhero movie fatigue by this point too. There's just so much out there.
And again, that's kind of their fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And also, multiverse things kind of like protruding everywhere, which, I mean, I like the concept of multiverse, but also leads to lazy writing. Sorry, but I said it.
Yeah. Well,
because it's like, hey, we can just write ourselves out of any plot hole because, fucking.
Well, one of the complaints I heard about it is,
Also, DCEU didn't even come out with the multi. They were supposed to release The Flash several years ago, wasn't it? And be like the first one to start doing multiverse, and they botched that.
They totally dropped the ball, and I don't know. I mean, the multiverse thing kind of needed to happen, but the best Flash is still the TV Flash. The series went downhill. Yes.
The one from the '90s with the trickster.
No, although they did, like, the Flash from the '90s did make an appearance in the TV show.
Really? I remember watching that Flash show. Well, I don't think I watched the show, but I remember there was like the 2-part made for TV movie was actually a rental at the video store that we watched a couple times. It wasn't that good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was, well, the problem is because it wasn't the Flash, it was Batman who ran fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
and ate a lot of TV dinners. I remember that scene where he's just like eating nonstop TV dinners. Like, I'm still hungry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like it was the Batman. Like, even the theme was kind of Batman-ish.
And his villain was the Joker too, basically.
Right. Yeah. One of his villains. But they actually did bring that Flash. Like, in the TV series, there was a Crisis of Infinite Earths. Of course, they couldn't do it proper because there was no Superman at the time. There's a Superman now, but in the Arrowverse or whatever, if you will, like, at the time they had Supergirl. So you had Supergirl instead of Batman. You had Batgirl instead of Batman. You had Green Arrow was a big deal in it. There is, they did, it was the WB, man, or CW. It was the CW.
Yeah. I mean, those movies had their high point back, or shows.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if they did
really
what they
liked
did,
them.
it worked. It was fine. It was definitely has cheese. It had a lot of cheese, but it was fine.
Ain't nothing wrong with comic book cheese, though.
And so, but they did it, and they actually introduced like that Flash from that world. From that '90s TV show showed up, and the guy who played that Flash he played Barry Allen's father in the series. So, that guy who played that Flash even showed up as that Flash. So it was legit that Flash and the same actor and everything. Even that TV show, or the CW TV show, was really good in bringing in all those old actors and actresses. So, like, his love interest in the '90s TV show, she showed up in the series. As another version of her, there was actually a lot of really cool, crossover episodic stuff. I watched a 45-minute kind of breakdown of the entire series. It got real dumb. But
all of a sudden the writers wrote themselves into a corner. Like, what do we do now? Let's get dumb.
Yeah, they really should have kind of tied that up with a bow at, maybe a couple seasons back.
Are you paying attention to Riverdale at all on Netflix?
I know of it. I've never seen it.
Man, that show is gone bonkers. I've only seen a couple episodes, but I've watched some recap videos of it. Yeah, they're like multiversing, time traveling, fixing like weird Doctor Who kind of stuff going on in there now. Satanists summoning demons.
Well, the Satanist makes sense because I did watch the first, maybe in the second season.
Oh yeah, I did watch first. You're right, where it
Sabrina.
had like the Coven of Witches at the end or something like that.
Well, I watched the Sabrina show.
Okay.
And the Sabrina show, like
did that tie in with the
yes,
Riverdale?
It was the same world and everything. Like they at one point, even one of the characters leaves whatever town that is to go to Riverdale.
Gotcha.
Like it is, they straight up on the same place.
Jughead kidnaps Sabrina's cat this episode.
And one kind of funny thing though is it was Satan. Like they're like, it wasn't like, oh, witch superpowers. They straight up worship like the devil. So it was kind of interesting how they did that.
Yeah.
Going back to the movie. We went off topic.
Yeah, we'll still make this episode work though.
Yeah. Well, going back to the Flash movie though, like they show Michael Keaton. I was really excited about that. Like, oh, Michael Keaton, yay. I don't know, man. It's like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I'm like, it made sense in context in that movie at that time. It's not his catchphrase. Batman doesn't go around going, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. It doesn't.
He did say it in the original Batman movie though.
That's what I'm saying. No, I know. He was.
But Batman didn't say it, though. It was Bruce Wayne that said it.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne when he's like smashing up stuff with a baseball bat and yelling at the Joker, I believe.
You want to get? Let's get nuts.
But yeah, that I never would have associated that as being his quote unquote catchphrase from that movie.
Yeah,
yeah. They're like, that's a weird thing to shoehorn in there. And then, of course, they also got the special effects thing going on too with that movie, where it's like, hey, special effects look wonky on purpose.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Now, I don't know if I read this or you may have told me. I don't know, but like the way they do it, the way they do the special effects in movies like those is they get a studio to go, okay, we're going to pay you X amount of $1 million to do all these special effects. And they're like, we'll do 100 there's be 100 scenes of special effects. You do. Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll hire Lucasfilm or whoever to do that or some sub studio.
Did you tell me this?
No, I don't want to probably talk about it.
Okay. So I don't want to be telling you something right back to you that you told me.
Well, we're also talking to the audience too right now. So
right. Well, so they don't know what they're getting. Like they don't know. Okay, look, we're giving you 100 scenes, and 75 of these are, very extreme, like shots that require a lot of work, or you're just removing a wire. Like, oh yeah, this person jumped high and there was a wire. They did some crash and tight.
Yeah, so it was like, hey, recreate this entire city in full CGI for us. Another one's like, yeah, we just need you to delete this little thing over here.
Yeah, so they don't find out what they're going to get until after they've already got the bid, and so all of a sudden, like
sometimes it's like, oh, we can't really do this.
Yeah, here you go, guys. Okay, you have like a month, and like what? And so, and for what they're saying, like the studio doesn't care. They're like, we don't care. We just want the money at the end. If it doesn't look good, whatever. As long as butts go in seats, we're happy.
Yeah. As long as it passes all the check marks and makes us money, which that movie did not make them money apparently.
No, it did not. Apparently, from what I'm saying, it's like the biggest, their absolute biggest bomb. Which,
I think it was $200 million to make, and it barely made $100 million back so far.
Well, they said I saw a thing today that said worldwide they've made their production money back. But they still
production money, but not like advertising money and whatnot.
Right.
Because those are usually written up as two different things. That way it's easier for them to screw the actors out of royalties.
Yep. Well, it's not just that, but like they have a bunch of hidden stuff in there too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
they can make any movie they want and not turn a profit.
Yeah, exactly.
Return of the Jedi has never turned a profit 1 year it's been released, just so you know. If that tells you anything.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, and that's not possible, but I mean, I'm guessing it's one of those things where like, hey, that movie made $15 million this year. Well, we spent $16 million on advertising it. It's like, no, you didn't, but got to cook the books somehow.
Right. I wanted to see that movie so bad, but they that's the thing though. They did it again. The thing I was talking about earlier about they tried to jump right to where Marvel was. Look, Flashpoint is a series that builds up like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of history behind Flashpoint. The TV series did it, but they didn't do it the first season. It wasn't season 1 was Flashpoint.
Yeah, it would have been like if Marvel tried doing the Infinity War like right off the bat with their first movie.
I mean, just come on, man. Just give it a minute. Like, let it percolate. And that's the thing. Like, there hasn't even been a Flash movie yet. This is the first Flash movie, and the first Flash movie they do is like a big giant like multi. Era, like bring in 2 Flashes and all this other stuff. It just take a minute, man. Like Flashpoint is the 3rd or 4th movie. That's what it is. It's a 3rd or 4th movie that down the pipe. It is not the first one.
Yeah, that Flashpoint should have been something where it's like, hey, we've seen what the Flash can do, with his powers. Now let's see what happens when he screws up with the powers. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Flashpoint really, other than that's when oil catches on fire in your pan. That's true.
Flashpoint, real quick. I'm not gonna I went a little bit too long in the Elsa thing, so I'm gonna try to condense this down. Basically, the reason why Flash is the Flash. Aside
is this whole Speed Force thing?
That actually has something to do with it. His mom gets killed when he's a kid. Okay, but the person who killed his mother was Reverse Flash. Flash went back in time to kill. He was trying to kill Barry as a kid. For one reason or another, he wasn't there, so he killed his mom instead. So what Barry does is he goes back in time and stops his mom from getting killed. So that, of course, butterfly effect.
Oh yeah, I kind of know different. Yeah, I kind of know the gist of this, and then in the end, he finds out he can't prevent her death, and tries to stop himself over and over again, and then
but there's also
a baby in a microwave.
Right, but there's also some really cool things about there's really interesting things. Like for instance, Batman is actually Bruce Wayne gets killed. So instead of his parents getting killed, Bruce Wayne dies, and so his dad goes off.
His dad just like the Robert's Paul guy's dad just picks up Bruce Wayne, and just holds him in front of his shield.
Right.
I just want to see that as being like the scene, like, oh no, Robert! Ah!
Well, the dad becomes Batman, and he uses gun and kills. So he's not like, oh no, I don't kill. He super kills. And his mom goes crazy and becomes the Joker. So that's the twist on that. And I don't know if any of that's to be found. I know, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, so. Yeah. But instead, there's Michael Keaton Batman. So they went. I
think they also have a flash of Adam West Batman in there too for like a half a second for a fun.
They do. That's the thing. Apparently he's running through. So from what I've read, or not from what, from watching the pitch meeting, YouTube thing. Apparently they keep on dying, and so Flash keeps on going back in time, trying to stop them from dying, to keep on redoing the same fight over and over again.
Yeah.
And in doing that, he keeps on changing the timeline, and and so he does see you see Adam West Batman, and you saw Christopher Reeve Superman, and you see, and for apparently criminally you don't see the CW Flash, which makes no sense because in that Crisis on Infinite Earth, they meet. He actually, the movie Ezra Miller Flash meets that Flash in that episode. He's only there for a couple seconds, but he's there, and it broke the internet. Let's say anybody who cared, it blew their minds.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it broke the internet because kind
of like that WandaVision where they brought back Quicksilver for a half a second.
Yeah, and that was
where everybody was talking about for just a moment. It was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, and I remember I actually read an interview with the person who wrote the shit series, and they were shitting their pants.
Yeah, they're we made a mistake.
Oh yeah, because they're like, oh, we just did this to have a boner joke in it. We weren't thinking we just thought it'd be cool to have him as an actor. And when they saw all the people going, oh my god.
This is the start of it all. X-Men are coming.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, they're gonna be so pissed, and they were. So,
which is not their fault, though. I mean,
well, it is their fault.
To do all that for a.
It is
not really.
No, it is because they are moronic to think that the Marvel fan base, really, you didn't think they'd be wouldn't flip the fuck out over that, especially for how much the rabid fans have been demanding X-Men come into that series. You didn't consider for a minute that one of the most judgy, hateful mob of internet fans out there aren't gonna flip out over you bringing in one of the most popular versions of Quicksilver into the MCU. If you didn't see that coming, you're a fucking moron. So I don't know. Like, that's just, they should
honestly. I didn't think it meant anything. The way they introduced him, it just, I don't know. The way the series set it up, I was just like, well, this isn't leading anywhere. Of course, I was kind of naive to at the time.
Well, I didn't think it leading anywhere. I assumed I was gonna be disappointed because I'm like, surely they're not bringing him like this. Because I mean, if they would, I've been very happy, and I was hoping, but I had tempered my expectations. So I don't know. Like, I tempered my expectations because I knew that I just didn't want to be super disappointed, and I was right to do so because it was dumb. It was a boner joke, hardy.
Yep. But hey, who doesn't like a good boner joke? It was kind of dumb though.
I mean, just the lack of foresight on that, it just was appalling. I mean, is it as bad as killing someone? Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not saying that is. It's just,
but it's right up there. You're saying it's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. I mean, it was almost like an Alec Baldwin move on their part.
An Alec Baldwin move?
Yeah, killing somebody.
Oh, gotcha.
Set. Yeah. Yes, he shot somebody on a set.
He did shoot someone on a set, and he got away with it too.
He did. Yeah, kind of a bummer. But I mean, I don't know. Alec Baldwin's such a blowhard. It's kind of hard to feel bad for him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anybody else, I'd feel really bad for him. But Alec Baldwin's like, he's kind of a chode guy.
He is kind of a chode. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know personally, but he has done some self-deprecating things. He was in Team America World Police. So, but that doesn't really kind of wash over all the times. He was just a total ass.
Yeah. Hard to say. But like you said, we haven't met him, so who knows? I do remember that phone call, that recording of him screaming at his daughter, where he called her an inconsiderate little pig.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has bad days, but that's your daughter, man. It's hard to give a pass on that.
Yeah,
I don't care how old she is. It's
could have worded it
cool.
better. Especially for somebody who actually prides himself on being very vocabulary heavy.
Vocabulary heavy.
Yeah, well, I meant to say well spoken, but yeah, my brain doesn't have a very good vocabulary apparently. See, it all loops around. But yeah, and also Ezra Miller being in the Flash movie kind of taints it a little bit with his, speaking of chodes.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then that one producer was like, his acting will be so good you'll forget about all the accusations. It's like, don't think so, man.
Well, that's the thing though. It's not accusations. He did it.
Yeah. There's video camera footage of him beating on that one.
He beat that person up. And the only reason why he's not rotting in prison right now is the person he kidnapped was 18, legally an adult. Yeah. So, or 18, 19, I don't know. Like, they were a teenager, but they were not, it wasn't kidnapping.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't, it was a high up teenager, not a low teenager.
Yeah. And it's like, man, come on. And I remember him taunting, you don't know where I am.
Yeah, he was mocking the police on Instagram or something like that. It's like,
yeah, and
it's not helping your case either.
You're a Hollywood star. You've been in some massive franchises. He was never mind the Flash. He was in Flash and MCU stuff, or sorry, MCU.
I honestly can't even think of one movie he was ever in or acting. I know he's been in big movies. I'm not saying he has. It's just I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
He was also big in Harry Potter, not Harry Potter series, but the
Fantastic Beasts.
Yes,
okay.
He was a fantastic.
Oh, he was in that. All right.
He was big. He was a central character in that. He wasn't
honestly at a glance too. I always think he's like Adam Driver. They kind of look alike to me. That might just be on me though.
There are similarities, but no.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they both have dark hair and pointy noses. I mean, that's probably literally it. But I don't know. All humans kind of look alike. We all got 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose.
they both have like a strong cheekbone. They have dark hair. They kind of have bigger noses, but like, and they're like similar. So like the features are close, but no. Like
then again, if you stick like Timothée Chalamet in there, you'd almost have like a gradient of like dark-haired white actors. Well, Timothée Chalamet,
I guess.
I don't know, white. Yeah.
I don't. The only reason why I like Timothée Chalamet is just he seems like
ding dong.
Shamalama ding dong. He seems like a dick. I have no idea. I don't know it. I've never heard anyone say he's a dick. He might be the most wonderful person in existence. He might spend his days like helping orphans, like get new feet. I don't know that, but he just looks like a dick, and that is unfair. I admit that, but here we are.
Yep, and I cannot undo this thought process that Henry is just forever stuck as being branded.
I probably could, but I'm not gonna. I mean, unless I hear something like, that actually does, like, oh no, he really does help orphans get their feet. Like, okay, well, I guess I will change.
But for now, he's not worthy to be part of House Atreides.
Right. With that being said, though, he was fantastic in Dune. Oh man, have you seen Dune yet?
I have. That was a good movie. I'm actually looking forward to the next one.
I am too. I
was well done.
I read those books too. I read those books while I was out there. I read the first. I read the first, second, and third one, and I'd stopped. I was good.
Yeah, it's a lot of and I've heard as the books go on, they kind of get a little weirder and preachier, sort of. Preachy is the right word, but yeah, they kind of just go way off and like, hey, the 7th evolution of a sandworm now.
Did you ever listen to that last podcast to the left?
I did. That's where I got most of my Dune knowledge from.
Okay, cool. Then you're on the same page.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I love them doing that. I wish they'd do more of that.
Actually, I kind of wish they'd do more of that too. I was just thinking about that the other day. It was like, that was actually a good little series.
That really was. And I'm sure like that's asking a lot. They seem pretty busy, but
yeah.
Like I'm listening to Oppenheimer stuff right now.
That one's been good too. Kind of a lot of info to take in at times, but still good.
Yeah, I'm only in the second episode. So but yeah, I'm definitely I'm glad I'm listening to it.
Especially I'm interested in that movie too. They actually got Kodak to make a special film stock just for that movie for IMAX.
Oh yeah.
And apparently the IMAX film reel is going to weigh like 75 pounds or something like that or more.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, apparently. Yep. But for the color scheme that he wanted, Nolan went to Kodak and was like, hey, I need you to make this specific kind of film for it. And they're like, all right.
Well, apparently people are leaving the test screen just like distraught.
Interesting.
They're saying it's basically like a horror movie. And people are leaving the test screens just like emotional damage. So
emotional damage.
Yeah, that's exactly emotional damage. Have you ever seen the original where that came from? Like, have you watched that little thing?
I don't think I've seen the original one. I've watched that dude plenty of times though.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the whole skit. Like everyone just focuses on that one emotional damage, but I mean the whole skit was actually pretty funny. It was a whole thing about video games, like Asian video games. It's like he stepped on a twig, dead, and then finally. Like I think he stepped on a twig, he turned his head too fast, and at one point in time, like the villain like says something to him and he dies, and it pops up emotional damage, and he's like, emotional damage? What the fuck?
He says it in some of his other videos too and skits. He'll drop it every once in a while.
Oh, of course he will, because that's his bread and butter now. Like, dude, again, I think I've said this before. If I had a catchphrase that got me money, I'd say that shit every day.
Damn right. He's actually just released a spoof series of like Power Rangers kind of stuff for Voltron. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
But it's basically a spoof of 1970s Japanese big kaiju TV series, and it's like him and his buddies piloting a giant robot.
Oh, there's
it's like made specifically for YouTube, I think. It's not that great, but he's trying.
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of those you'll watch it they're like 15 minutes a pop. You'll watch it, you'll like, well, that was all right.
Well, emotional damage that will get you so far. Emotional damage will get you in the door, and like you as I said, I would say it until I'm not getting paid for it anymore. But yeah, dude, like
it's one of those two where a lot of the gags they do are like visual, like super low budget gag things, because those shows back then were super low budget.
Well, speaking of super low budget, nothing will ever beat. What was it? The Velocipaster. Have you seen that?
Nope.
I haven't seen.
I haven't it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not gonna say you're like, oh yeah, I've seen the movie. I haven't seen the movie. But just that one scene that everyone loves. Like at least everyone talk. It's that one where the guy comes out. He's like his parents are waving to him. Have you seen this? Please tell
I
me.
don't think so.
His parents are waving to him by the car. He's like, "Mom, Dad, hi," and they're waving. And then like it cuts to a blank screen, like a blank whatever, and just the words printed across the screen goes, "Car explodes." And then it cuts back to him like flying back, like no.
Okay, that's kind of awesome.
And like they didn't have the budget and time to do it. And he said when he submitted it to like some theater to watch it, they came back and were like, "Oh, hey, did you know this isn't done?" He's like, "No, I know."
It's like no, that's what we're putting in. You can't do that. It's expensive to explode a car in real life, or to have it CGI exploded too.
Oh right. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll pause real quick.
Yep, go for it. Well, there you have it, our Diablo review episode where we talked more about Timothée Chalamet than we did Diablo. Sorry about that. We might give a Diablo review another shot in the future and not get so off topic. We did continue to talk for a while after this point, covering a lot of topics including Oompa Loompa slavery, Gary Coleman's death, the Fugitive movie, and somehow more Chalamet talk. And that will be our next episode, part 2 of our quote-unquote Diablo review. This is where the ending jingle goes. This is where the ending jingle goes. I don't know if we need one. I don't know if we'll get one. But if we do, then here is where it goes.